Political uncertainty looms now in Japan following Prime Minister Ishiba's resignation. Japan's budget requests for the next fiscal year are set for a record for the third consecutive year, its finance ministry said this week, amid growing market concern that the political wrangling within the ruling LDP may hurt the country's fiscal health. The combined 122.45 trillion yen, equivalent to $831 billion budget requests from government agencies, highlight the struggle of streamlining spending for the industrial world's most heavily indebted country. Concern over political uncertainty led to a sell-off in Japan's yen currency and its government bonds last week, with the yield on the 30-year bond hitting a record high on Wednesday. And let's discuss Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's resignation with our guest on the show now. We have with us Ambassador S.R. Thayal, a former senior diplomat. Welcome, sir, to the program. It is interesting that the Liberal Democratic Party has governed Japan almost continuously since 1955. What do you think accounts for LDP's dominance in Japan's politics for such a long time?
Actually, Liberal Democratic Party brings together a wide range of opinions in Japan, and it is kind of a coalition, and it has not seen a very strong leader. There are different interest groups which work together. In fact, if we see after 2000, there have been 11 prime ministers in Japan. And after Mr. Shinzo Abe had to leave in September 2020 because of ill health, there have been 3 prime ministers. The people, and now LDP is in a minority, both in the lower house and upper house. They had a coalition in the lower house with another party, Komecho. It seems that the people of Japan really are looking for a change. But the opposition is divided. There are 3 major parties, the Constitutional Democratic Party, Democratic Party of the People, Japan Innovation Party, and and the economy is in trouble. The public debt in Japan is 250% of GDP. The population is aging.
Yes.
And the rate of growth is very low because there is not much internal demand and consumption. And another worrying factor which came in the July 2025 elections for the upper house was that a fringe rightist party called Sansieto.
Yes.
They got about 14 seats and they are very rightist, anti-immigration, and really it has people who take their information only from the social media. So their views are really detached from reality. And they are seeing immigration as a big problem. In Japan, only 3% of the population is
from outside. Okay. So,
from outside.
Yeah. So with Sansiyatu's rise and of course the bruising election defeats of Japan's Liberal Democratic Party, where do you think Ishiba or the LDP has gone wrong?
LDP perhaps became too focused on their own personal advancement. They have not been able to throw up a strong leader. And somewhere, because of political corruption, financial scandals, the media has been full of that. So some sort of power brokers perhaps sort of captured the Liberal Democratic Party, and it became a little distant from the people and from the aspirations of the people, and was not able to communicate properly that they are fit to govern. And that is a crisis of confidence, I would say. But after 7 decades in power in a democratic society, people do want a change. They expect a change. Whether it is for the better or worse, that only the future will tell. because the alternatives could even be worse than LDP. But perhaps people want a change. But a lot of people feel that LDP may still be able to come on a consensus for another name as a prime minister and broker some kind of a deal with one of the smaller parties so that they continue to govern. Otherwise, there would be perhaps another election. But it is generally felt that LDP may be able to find another leader from within itself or offer the prime ministership to another small party. They had done it earlier in the 1990s, where when they did not have majority, so they offered the prime ministership to another party and continued to rule. That is also a likely scenario.
Okay.
But the fact is worrying that such a strong fourth largest economy, our strategic partner, Prime Minister was there just a week back, and in the entire turbulent world and turbulent Indo-Pacific, where the whole region needs a strong leadership in Japan, they are facing such internal political disturbance. That sort of weakens the democratic countries' resolve to keep Indo-Pacific tranquil and stable and peaceful. And unfortunately, that is in Korea also we saw there was martial law, and now we have another president. So in England, we are seeing a lot of difficulties. Somehow, the democratic countries are facing some kind of lack of leadership, I would say, strong leadership, and people are becoming restive. People's aspirations have risen, and because of social media and very pernicious effect of social media, the polarization in democratic societies, open societies, where there is freedom of expression is increasing. So there are a lot of challenges, I would say, to Japan itself as a strong democratic country, a bulwark for peace and stability in Indo-Pacific, a member of Quad, India, US, Japan, and Australia, to keep stronger powers or some other powers which want to disturb the status quo at bay. And Japan has a very big role to play, not only as a fourth largest economy, but in the global governance. In United Nations, they are also aspirants to become a permanent member of the UN Security Council along with us. And so it is, and they are very good friends of India. So we hope, I think all the people in India, government hope that they resolve the issues quickly. And Japan again is strong both politically and economically. They resolve their problems. The economy is practically stagnant. The rate of growth is very low. Public debt is high, but they are not able to take any strong measures to stabilize the economy because of the public pressure. But Japanese eventually are very disciplined people.
Yes, of course.
They have a very strong work ethic.
Yes.
And I'm confident they will get through it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
there will be some turbulence.
Yes. Ambassador Tayal, let's talk a little bit about the road ahead for the next Prime Minister of Japan. There are views from the market that the next Prime Minister should have economic views that are not too controlling of the monetary policy. So the top two contenders, what do you think of them for the LDP's leadership? The lady Sanae Takaichi and Shinjiro Koizumi.
There is a feeling within LDP that Mr. Ishiba was a little left of the center and perhaps was trying to get too close to China. And if the conservative wing of LDP comes out stronger, then they also have, some people say, a very conservative view about the leadership role for women. So, if the conservative wing of LDP gets its way, then perhaps the other candidate you mentioned,
Shinjiro. Yeah.
Shinjiro, he could be the candidate, and it will be a more conservative
Yes.
fiscal policy with less expenditure on public welfare, social welfare, etc.
But if Sanae Takaichi is chosen, probably Japan would get its first woman prime minister.
That will be very good news as far as personally speaking.
And what do you think of the other opposition? Can they provide a challenge to the LDP in terms of their candidates, Sanaito party in particular?
Senator party will only be, it will be very difficult for any other party to work with them, and they can only be a spoiler because they are untested and they have very strong views with which no mainstream party really agrees. But from one of these democratic parties, if LDP is able to pull them in, giving them some incentive or some offering some good positions, then perhaps LDP in some form would continue to govern in Japan with a new leader.
Okay. Lastly, very quickly, sir, would you feel that this exit was probably a very responsible move made by Shigeru Ishiba, considering that there were reports coming of a split within the party if he doesn't resign?
Yes, because in his watch, both the houses were lost by LDP. Last year elections, the lower house was lost, and now July election, the upper house was lost. And he perhaps was losing the confidence of the major leaders of LDP. And he had perhaps made up his mind to resign, but he said that the trade talks are going on with President Trump and the United States. And there were some very important issues that 15% tariff had been told by United States. They had agreed for 15% tariff on Japanese exports, but on Japanese cars,
yes,
they had not reduced it. And so yesterday this announcement was made that on Japanese cars also the tariff would be only 15%. And earlier it was 27.5%, and there are almost $3 billion or maybe more automobiles go from Japan to United States. So as soon as that was taken and announced, then Mr. Shiba resigned. So he acted in a very responsible fashion. And as he had said, that once the deal is reached with United States on tariffs, then he would resign, and he has done so.
Okay. On that note, we wind up our discussion. Sir, thank you very much for being with us and giving us perspective on where Japan is headed next.